So it's a chance to get together and do some personal development work, but also create like a fellowship or a brotherhood to support each other as we go through life's challenges. There's plenty of men who have been through hard or traumatic things, and it's quite hard to let go of those issues sometimes, especially in isolation. So I guess it's the antidote to isolation is connection and a bit of a community where the intent is to heal, really. So for me as a dad, my intent is to do as much work on myself, so I pass on as little baggage to my son as possible. So for me, the gatherings are a chance to kind of inspire a different way of being a man, a different model, if you like, where men do talk about their issues and what's going on. Working through your emotional challenges and woundings and issues takes a lot of courage. There's this misconception that, if a man cries, he's weak. That's bullshit. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of balls to actually open yourself up and start unpacking some of this stuff. And if we can do that in a supportive way, then it's less likely to come out in unconscious or negative ways. So it's a supportive environment where we can do our work on ourselves, and in doing so ends up benefiting our partners and our friends and our kids. Unless you're really lucky to have some, open, emotionally intelligent mates around, it's not that easy to find people to talk to about stuff. You can go and see a counsellor or a psychologist, but that can be quite impersonal. It's different when you've just got friends or fellow, brothers, fellow men who are helping you because they care about you and who you are. It's a bit like taking myself in for an emotional service and oil check. I've got plenty of stuff that I've been holding on to over the year, and things I want to let go of, and it's kind of scary to open up and share your emotions and also the bits of you that aren't that socially acceptable to show or that nice. So you get to talk about real issues, real for me, and work through them and come out the other side. So for me, it's just fantastic. I went to a gathering a few years ago, and it was a father-son theme, and it really cut me up quite deeply. My dad was a Vietnam veteran and a bit of an alcoholic and had a pretty hard time. How do you come back from, the trauma of war? And, he coped with it through, drinking a carton of beer a day, which kind of helped him cope, but I won't say it was great for the family. It wasn't great for me as a son. He was a wounded man, and he didn't have the support that we've got in an event like this. He didn't have mates that would be real and honest and open with him. So they'd go to the pub and drink, and their conversations would stay in a pretty shallow realm. So he had to hold that burden and that trauma of what he's been through and done by himself, and he took a lot of that to his grave, and that chewed him up inside. I think that's what happens when a man becomes wounded and goes down. The people around him often get hurt. But I don't blame my dad for any of my issues. He was doing the best he could with what he had. I went with 3 of the men from the gathering into the nursing home and saw my dad and told him I loved him before he died. And I'm so glad I did that for him and for me. And I think he passed on feeling a bit more at ease with himself. Because he would have known that in different ways he wasn't a good dad. And that's hard to face up to. But to have, as he got older, he needed my approval and my love. It's interesting, when I was younger, I needed his approval and love. But as my dad got older and had a couple of strokes and wasn't well, he needed my love and approval. So rather than be bitter and blame him for things, I forgave him and told him I thought he did a good job and did the best he could, and that I love him. And I think that was good medicine.